Welcome to the Language of Markets live sessions. It is Freaky Friday, the 21st. Can't start without Phil. Good morning, Phil. All right, Raj. All right, good to see everybody. It's been a wild week, huh? Freaky Friday. We're going to keep things a little loose today. Show the longest day. Today's supposed to be the longest day?
Today's the first day of summer.
Oh, it's summer, huh? Really? Ah, cool. Summertime. I don't know. It's been like 107 out here, so it's always summertime. Summertime. All right, so we're gonna see some pressure cookers and some trades and talk about some things and see where it goes. We'll keep it a little loose today as we get ready to wrap up the pressure cooker guy. First thing I think we'll start out with, it's going to snow out there, Phil. I don't know about you guys. You guys are crazy. Out there in Colorado, it's going to snow in the mountains. Forget about it. All right. So let's work through some things. We'll talk about some trades. There are some trades from some of you guys. Oh, yeah. Geez, Edward, 105 with 50% humidity. That's right. You're from Texas, huh? Out there in Austin. That's the heat index is insane. Yeah, that sounds horrible. I'm from Florida, so I don't have any pity on you. Forget about it. You could move to Oklahoma, but of course Oklahoma is just a cow pasture for Texas, right? 55, Gary. Oh, geez, you guys are crazy. All right, so let's talk. We got a bunch of things to talk about. Notice I got a bunch of yellow and gray boxes, minor and major gaps, is because that's the building blocks of actually the pressure cooker. So we're going to talk about that. But, let's talk about something first. We'll roll through some trades in some things. All right. There's a subject I want to bring up first. All right. Because, we have to keep, without our head being in the right place, it really doesn't matter what we do. We're going to screw it up. All right. And so, there's a few things we always need to talk about like that. For instance, you guys remember, see, it's more than setup. I still want to keep driving this home. You guys remember we talked about this yen on Wednesday? What's it feel like, right? What's it feel? We talked about, oh, I finally got on board, got short. So I'm going to work into my story on the euro. So we talked about this on Wednesday because I originally, was long and it was heavy, right? There's a feel to it. And then, I finally knocked me on the head and said, okay, I'm on the wrong side of this. And we talked about the feel to this thing. And so right after we talked about it, you see how it ended up. My point being is that although we'll use structures and pressure cookers, and Nate says starting with the euro, the universe makes sense again. I was going to start with the gold, Nate, but I thought you guys were getting bored. But follow me here. I'm going to talk about this in the gold too. There's a setup to the setup. All right. There's two subjects I want to cover here. There's a setup to the setup. It's not just match a pattern with pattern recognition. All right. There's a setup to the setup. Just like, if we play a type 2 contract, expand, right? It's not just something that happens in midair. We can call context. We can talk about context is like the setup to the setup. Something like that. Okay, context. There's a setup to the setup. That's one of the subjects I want to talk about. It's not just do something blindly. Because look, there's also a setup here. A little swapperoo. All right. So there's a feel to price and what price is doing. The lines help us get that. And you saw me, long, and I was all right. I was following the path. Just keep going until you're done going. And when it was done going, I had a hard time changing over. It literally took me, days. And here's what happened to me. All right, here's what happened to me. I let go my position. Meaning, I had a position long, literally, but I also had a mental position. I wanted this thing to go up. I thought this thing was going to expand. I expected this thing to expand up, or at least give me the dang one more piece out of it, okay? See, I'm long somewhere in here, and so I'm expecting. Okay, it didn't happen. So when it didn't happen, it took me a while to figure it out. I mean, I ended up getting stopped out without losing, but still, doesn't matter unless I drop my position to things. And my position was I wanted it to go long. And we can adopt a position for many things, like this setup needs to work. This gap thing needs to always work. This 3 drives needs to work. This median line set needs to always do this. And what happens is we develop a position. And what I'm getting at for trading is you have to have the ability, or you have to train in the ability to drop your position. And since Nate's here, I'll pick on Nate, right? Nate's been fighting, the Aussie for a little while. So he didn't drop his position very easily. You follow me, Nate? Your position to things. Now you can ground this, right? Think about it when I say your position. We take a positioning. All right, so let's ground this. I don't just chat about these things. We take a positioning to things in life. So think about it this way, ground it. If somebody criticizes you or insults you, all right, gets tough with you, what happens, right? Notice you automatically start to position yourself in a mental way. Everything can be going good, and then this happens, and you take a position. It'll literally show up in your body. You cross your arms, you'll get tense. That's a position, right? You contract. Somebody's criticizing you, somebody's insulting you. And from that position, actually the best way to deal with that person is to drop your position. Because who knows, maybe they're just having a bad day. You go and punch them in the nose, you're going to get in trouble. But that's a position, and it's the same thing. We take a position, and then we want to protect our position. Why? Because we all want to be right in the end. It's true. Just look. We all want to be right. It's built in. You ever see people, and we all do it once in a while, you ever want to give somebody a real good I told you so? I told you so, right? Some people even add a little dance to it. I told you so, right? We all want to be right. As long as, Edward's old school. As long as they don't talk bad about your mom, huh? Yeah. Don't talk bad about your mom and knock your hat off. Then everything's good. Where I come from, it was a lot of practice with mama jokes. So, but we take a position to things. And if we don't, we need to learn to let our position go. And we need to do this constantly in the market. Constantly. So it took me a while. I had to let my resistance go. All right. I was protecting. I wanted this dang thing to work. Here, I was talking about it publicly in here, I wanted it to work. It didn't work. Guess what? If I don't drop my position, I don't get short. Plain and simple. I don't join what's going on. And so this takes a training because it's not so easy to let go our position to things because, well, we want to be right. And all I'm saying is to start out to become conscious of that. all right? And then we can talk about ways to work with it. First thing is just to be conscious. We take a position. We want to protect our setup. We want to protect our whatever our image, da 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 da. And we'll take a position. And if we're stubborn, well, we're going to lose money because we have to constantly drop our position. It's hard to see out of one's beliefs and letting go of a belief and letting go of oneself. Yes, it's hard to drop your position, but let's not even couch it in that, There's things we can do. When it comes to the market, it's not just belief, we want to be right there. Here, I'm going to give you an example in the euro. I'll give you an example in the euro. And the faster we're able to let go this position, the faster we're able to learn from price, from ourselves, everything else. Yeah, don't get married to that position. It's funny, they call it investing, right? We get very invested in what we're doing. We get very invested. And I'm going the opposite way. Don't be so dang invested. So here we are in the euro, going down, going down, going down. Right? Beautiful little try here. We already worked this little minor pressure cooker, right? Going down. And so I'm looking at this, and, Fed day shows up, and I don't know, somewhere in here. Well, I might as well go with it, right? I might as well go with it. Now, look, I have a map. Notice my map isn't my religion. I have a map. Price is doing this. Look, it's holding the center. Yeah. Holding the center. Zooming the center. Retesting. Coming and hitting the other side. Beautifully. Beautifully. Hitting the center. Hitting the other side. Right? Now we get on this side of center. Now we're expanding back into this idea right along with sellers. Right along with sellers. So right here, this looks good to me. I want to sell with sellers until they stop going. And that's fine. It looks good. It's going down. I'm going to go down with it. I like these scary bars. Hit me. Right? Boom. I can get a stop up in here. And, it hits me harder. Okay, so I get stopped. Now, I need to let go, and I'm telling you what I did and what I do and what I practice. I need to let go of my position that this thing needs to keep going down right now. It already broke this. It already expanded, right? See, this was the swing. This was the swing, and this was the expansion, and we're going past the expansion. So something's up. So I need to let go my position about this and watch rather than force it. And if any of you have been trading long enough, you've gotten stuck where you just keep trying. Oh, I just got popped, and maybe you sell it one more time, and maybe you wait for a little swing, and maybe you sell it one more time. And anybody ever do that? You get real stuck to that? Maybe you'll use a little setup if we get Aaron says yesterday. Okay, good. So you know what I'm talking about. But it can get really wild, Aaron. I know you got discipline, really good discipline. But it could get really wild till you chop yourself up into pieces. And, you're like in this little bubble and you can't get out of it. That's because you're stuck in your position, right? But if I can let this go, I can watch, right? All I have is gap. This is basically a pressure cooker to this, all right? So, I watch. Okay. Easy enough, right? And the next thing I think about is, well, hell, I could probably get long this thing. I don't do this. I don't get long, but I could think I could probably get long. So I did drop my position, and I'm just looking at swings rolling now. I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting it. You know, I get a little pullback like this. See, I'm just doing my work. Just doing my work. And I think, you know, I bet I could get long some Momo here. But, you know, I got other things going on, and I'll take my stop. But the thing I'm happy about, see, you know, then you can use little things like a gap swap here. You know, if I'd have been wide awake here working this, I'd have probably took that. But the point being is we let go our position. And as Edward said, it's not that easy. So the first step is to notice you're holding a position. And you know what? You don't need to be trading to notice this. Just notice the next time you want to be right about something. You're holding a position. And the most effective way to handle any situation is to drop your position and get what's going on with them over here. Get what's going on with the other side. And then you can come up with some solid ways. So when it comes to dropping our position, it starts with first noticing it. And, you know, then it gets a little more deeper. You know, then you kind of, you know, you spend some time feeling the reaction of the whole thing. All right. That takes a little training, takes a little time. But it's a skill. It's a principle of skill. It doesn't matter if you're woodworking. All right. Doesn't matter if you're gardening. It's a skill thing that goes across the board. Because if you're woodworking or if you're trying to carve something out and you got an opinion the wood should be softer or harder, it is what it is. You better drop your position and get on board. That's skill. And this applies to trading. That's skill. You know, we spend a lot of time in disappointment with trading with stuff. And disappointment, I know, it's actually a good thing. Because disappointment is showing us where we have our expectations that are getting slammed. Is showing us where we're getting stuck if we're paying attention. If we're paying attention. So that's dropping your position. So let's talk a little bit about expectation now. Just a little bit. Let me find it. Where is it? Right here. All right, so we lined up a type 1 here, right? One of these things about these lessons, I'm talking about myself most of the time. And it's a human thing, which means I'm talking about you guys too. That's right. Not just me. I ain't the only crazy one. And so we lined up these pressure cookers. We talked about, oh, it's such a pretty market. Maybe it'll expand, right? And so when we lined this up here, I had an expectation that this one should work. And I watched it. I watched it come down. Not even a blip. Not even a bar blip. One little blip and down we go. Okay. So then I watch, okay, maybe it's going to be a type 3 right here. Maybe it's a type 2, maybe it's a type 3. Okay, it's hitting it, zooming it on the other side. And this whole thing just dashed all of my expectations about this little thing working. And that's a good thing. Nate says, interesting, it didn't take out the swing low, right? No, it didn't take out this little swing low, and it held this one. And that's the perfect attitude, Nate. Interesting. We're going to see live what happens now. So it is interesting. Something's changed, right? Something's changed. Something's changed. But my point being is when you come to any of these structures or anything you're using, it doesn't matter, fibs, 3-drive, whatever your favorite thing is. If you come to it with a lot of expectations, you're not free to learn. None of these things are perfect. This is not a probability system. And so it's good that we see that plenty of these things do something funky. It's good that we see that in our practice. You know how to recognize it. You know how to recognize, and it's good that you see, because then, okay, maybe this is an interesting way to see a type 2. We don't know yet. I'm kind of leaving it alone. You know, it was a big peak here. I'm kind of leaving it be right now. Why? Because I want to learn. But my point being, it dropped. You know, I had an expectation. And so something different happened here. Something different happened here. What I'm talking about is an attitude to approach our trading in. You know, we need to approach our trading with a certain attitude, especially about expectations. And there's this thing about context. Not every setup's going to work everywhere. It's not built like that. Okay? It's not built like that. There's something that sets up the setup. So we kind of break things down into let's just take a look at the New Zealand yen. We kind of break things down into, okay, there's a pivot. Official gap swap pivot component, right? But that's in isolation. You know, we need to take into consideration, you know, what's going on with this market here. It just hit this pressure cooker. If you were short, you're in the money. We're fighting this gap. See, there's more to the story here. So we have this gap trying to hold up. We have this swap. So there's a little more going on to this story than just a flat out, let's plug in a setup. There's a little more going on in this story. And so, you know, we watch, we pay attention to these things. And at some point, price will often send us some sort of a telegram. So we're going to keep an eye on this New Zealand yen, okay? Because this is a beautiful, watch, do your swing work, guys. All right, it's a beautiful swing. It's a beautiful gap. It's a beautiful little gap swap. This is what you want to see in a pivot. It's gorgeous. But it's also a market that's, you know, it's kind of fighting the wind here. The more we see these things, I know it ends up being too many options, but you know what? If you're stuck with a position, you'll use this little gap swap and abuse it and use it wherever you feel like it. So that was just a little talk on, you know, dropping your position and expectations and disappointment being a good thing. You know, if we didn't have expectations, we'd all be the happiest people in the world. Think about it. See a beach bum, he ain't got no problem. He doesn't expect much, right? It's something to think about. If we didn't have an expectation, things would be pretty dang clear. Yeah, that's interesting also. We'll come back to that. Didn't take out the swing low, Nate, and we'll follow that live and see what we can learn. But then you say, oh, well, if I don't have expectations, how am I going to be a great accomplisher, right? How am I going to be a king or queen trader? Blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, if you approached it without expectations, you'd be a more effective trader. I'd be a more effective trader. It's one of the hard parts of real trading. I'm glad you added that, real trading. And I'm just talking about ability. Now let's go to gold, since Nate was missing gold. All right. I want to talk about gold. Gold had one nice run, didn't it? Came up at a Fed day, and just look at it. It had one nice run. Remember how we looked at the yen and it had a certain feel to it? Feel it. I mean, this thing isn't giving an inch. See? This is a trend line trade. Okay? This thing isn't giving an inch. Everybody get that there's a setup to any setup you're going to do over here? This thing isn't giving an inch. At this point, it's all kind of contraction. And I'm pointing gold out here because this is one situation where that pressure cooker method shines. Okay? This is where it shines. Feels like panic buying. Feels like short covering on the way up. Feels like we all got to be in, right? It feels happy. It's not giving up. It doesn't feel like a fake out, right? There's a feel to this. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're just going to fake you out. It feels like, yeah, right? It's just up here and floating. It feels like gap, contraction, possible expansion. Who knows? But either way, there's a feel to this. Now, I'm not playing this big swing, but it is sucking a lot of people in, right? People have to, number one, they have to reposition, and it's in play. And it looks like it's nice and steady up here, right? Look at this run. And then, see that? See the difference? See, I can do it technical wise. See, there's a difference. This is, this one is actually tilted upward. So it's like, okay, maybe they're not done yet. And I can talk technical wise. After a move like this, we got to eat some time. It's like digesting a meal. Now let's look at this. So I'm going to take you into my trading room. Take you into my trading room as I looked at this thing yesterday. There's a lot of kind of going nowhere. I see a mountain holding. Right? I saw this mountain holding, so the mountains are kind of stepping up. I'm watching it. All right, what's it going to do? Boom. This, follow it now. Follow me. You should see this clearly. Right? Follow it back down. This is where this particular guy will often shine. And to tell you the truth, when it comes to the pressure cooker, I mostly use it for type 1 trades, for pushing trades. Mostly. But, maybe that's just my own bias. I don't know. But that's where I started it because I see the breakout and I want to take advantage of those poor guys buying the breakout. Oh my God, let me get my piece. My point in this guy being, feel your market. There's a setup to the setup. This isn't just something to do blind. None of these things are something to do blind. All right, there's a whole, there's a whole thing going on here. And then you can draw. It's not that hard to draw now. You can draw and look. Okay? Swing. Follow it back underneath the swing to where they threw them off the cliff. Now, this is one of the building blocks, right? This is just a coil gap. And that's where this guy absolutely just shines. Because at some point, a lot of traders just tend to want to hop on every reversal. But All right, one of the things we can do when we're holding a position, let's say you think gold is too high, it needs to come down, it needs to fill the gap. What can we do if we're holding that position, right? Well, one thing I say is feel it. Okay, that's hard. But what else can we do if we're holding a position of resistance against the market? And you'll feel it because you're trying to be short and you're looking for every single stupid blue Volkswagen reason to get short. Oh, look, there's a tail. So there's a few things we can do. Whenever we find out we're resisting, because no matter what you learn language-wise, if you're resisting the market, if you got a position that's against what they're doing, you're going to lose. Nate says you could take a small position the other way. That'll get you a good feel for it, but that ain't for everybody. That ain't for everybody. You forgot about the blue Volkswagen thing? Yeah. Think about it this way, you know, if you've got a fear of something, let's say, Edward, I say, I'm going to come over to your house because you insulted me. I feel very, very insulted by you. I'm going to come over to your house tonight and tap you on the head, right? Now, every noise you hear, you might be thinking it's me, right? So everything will tune to that fear if you happen to be scared of little old me, right? But you guys get it. Good luck. See, he's not scared of me. But you know what I mean? If you are worried about something, then all of a sudden everything gets tuned to that worry. Everything, yeah, it's a long drive. Everything gets tuned to that worry. Groundness, you guys know it. We call it paranoia. You see it in other people easy, but you do it too. What's the thing I heard? You know, it's every little thing will tune you into it. So one of the things we can do to straighten ourselves out, right, to center ourselves. What are the facts, Jack? Oh, okay, I got to swing high, right? I got to swing high. It's about that big. It's about that big. And that can help you get past your position. It can at least go, hey, wake up. Because literally you're asleep. Wake up. And if you wake up soon enough, you get long. That's right. Focusing on fear, you get more fear. It's better. It's well said. It's better than I said. If you focus on fear, you get more fear. It's true. Everything, every little thing, every little sound. What's that? Wendy's scared of spiders. You know, every little thing looks like a spider to her outside on the balcony. She'll go to town spraying everything down. Can't even go out there. Everything looks like a. You see that moving? It's nighttime, right? See that little spot over? Everything's a spider. And so we all do that. And it's the same thing, you know, when we're trading. And so there's a lot of resistance. So we can always say, what's the facts, Jack? Oh, but this is also where this thing shines. If you can get on board with it. It feels kind of stupid to take this trade. I'm looking at this yesterday. It feels kind of dumb to take this trade. I don't really have a good stop. You know, it's up here in the air. And if you're just bent on shorting it, you know what you're going to do? Let's look at let's ground this. If somebody's bent on shorting it, what are they going to do? They'll probably switch this over to like a daily time frame and say, yes, there's sellers here. Aha. And that will justify for them the need to fight it. But you got to look, what's going on now? So I'm talking a lot of things having to do with our mindset with trading today. A lot of things. And then we'll get back to lessons, but I'm talking a lot of things because this pressure cooker is easy, but you know what? When it's here, you got to take it. When you see this, you got to take it. You got to risk your money. This is easy trading right here because this thing just wants to go up. If you just do this in isolation with something that's in a different, say, situation, then it doesn't work out. But it's not bad in a market that just wants to you know, go up. But again, if you do it in isolation, you're going to have issues. If you force things to happen, you know, in nowhere land, just because you want it to happen that way, you're going to have issues with your trading. I mean, it's a good thing for you to read. Like you can come over here and you can say, okay, okay, there's a little pressure cooker here. It's kind of little. Okay, it does make a new low. But at some point, you got to realize, ain't doing that no more. You got to let go. Don't force it. One of the ways I see people forcing it, and I'm trying to hit everybody in here, one of the ways I see people forcing it is, oh, let's sell this. That didn't work. All right, let's sell this. Huh, that didn't work. Now it's going down. All right, let's sell this. That didn't work. Let's sell this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's sell this. That didn't work. Okay, now let's sell this. That didn't work. That's holding on to position. So somewhere you think gold needs to go down. And one of the reasons many of us think that is because you're so busy watching other stuff, watching the news and what the trade wars are doing or the correlations or what the fibs are telling you to do. And that stuff gets stuck in our mind and becomes a reason to fight it. I don't protect my position when I look. I let it go. It's all right, you're right. You ever see, you ever have somebody argue with you and then just agree with them? If you haven't, try this. Have somebody argue with you about something and just keep agreeing with them, right? You'll see an interesting thing go on. I did this with my son a few months ago. He was calling me about something and people were mad at him. I just kept agreeing with him. He just kept getting more and more agitated. I said, I'm agreeing with you. What are you mad at me for? All right, so that's a setup to the setup. It's just like the yen, not in isolation. Although the yen was beautiful because, okay, you had a line going up, it cracked it. Now let's do a line going down. This one's floating. Now this thing's still got a mood. You'll see what I'm doing today in this thing. All right, press, come off the cliff, bust, boom, boom. Come down. I get a gap. This thing's floating, you know. It's worth a shot. Take a little heat. Yeah, me, I'm a little early. I'm not too worried. It's floating. Don't chase it up here. Price pulls back. Again, swings, guys. Just swings. It's just swings. And we're still floating upwards. Still floating upward until we're not. Until we're not. Maybe it dies up here. But for now, the longs are easy trades. It looks a little funky. And if it turns, you know what? I'm not going to stick to my whole long position in gold. I'll turn right with it best I can. And if it turns again, I'll turn right with it best I can. Over and over and over and over again. And when it changes, just like the euro, if it keeps going down, I'll keep selling it. Then I'll get stopped. And then I'll look. And then I'll reorganize. Don't force yourself on the market. This is about following. This is one of the main reasons we do swings. We're just practicing. This is today's oil. Does everybody see my map and understand it? Yeah, right? Let's practice. Let's look a little farther. Let's do a little practice. I don't know what gold's doing on the daily. I don't care. I don't care if gold seems too high. I just care about what it's doing. And how do I know what it's doing? You had something similar and went short. You fighting it, huh, Nate? Well, let's look at that then. All right, let's look at that. So we can say, coming into today, we have a swing high. We can say that. One swing. Facts, Jack. We can actually just kind of look at it, you know, and see that price is on some kind of a line. It's up here, you know, on some kind of a line. We can see just with a simple map that it holds this. It's not the cleanest pressure cooker, but you know, this is the market. They're not all perfectly clean. Now, here's what I want you to do. Just forget this. Let's follow swings, okay? New high confirms that, right? We get this. We have a little swing here now. So just follow with me, because this is how we can learn to drop our position. Because you know what? I was feeling short this thing earlier also, Nate. But then I look, okay, we have a little swing. And I'm not even going to worry. I'm just going to worry about the majors and minors. Price makes a new high, comes off. It's got a little mountain thing going on here. So we can see it's got a little mountain thing going on here. Any shorts I want to take are probably going to be up against this someplace. But as we come back down, we drop. Again, I couch this as a setup, break the mountain, okay? You know, break the mountain into the gap, the minor mountain, the major mountain. But the problem is when we couch this as a setup, we automatically, you know, become biased. We want to make that thing work. So I'm trying to just do swings here. Do you know what I mean? If I do this, oh yeah, the second gap major should work. And then we separate ourselves and we lose touch of the market. This is a subtle thing. Notice when you're treating your stuff like this. Okay, I have this should work. You're not even considering anything else. This is a subtle thing, and you're separating yourself from what price is doing. You know, it's okay to use these things. It's okay to use these things, but when you put something on and you have that expectation that it should work, all you're waiting for is what Edward said earlier about the fear and the blue Volkswagens. You know, everything will trigger you in, everything. And Nate, you're exactly right. You put blinders on, right? And that's okay. I do it too. Unfortunately, you got to ride through these frustrations in trading. And you got to look at seeing, you keep putting blinders on it. And you know what? There's a pressure, isn't there? There's a pressure to keep doing the same stupid thing over and over. We all have it. It's not just one person. There's a pressure. If we keep putting blinders on, there's a pressure to keep doing that. It's almost like it's out of our hands. There's a pressure to keep doing that. Edward has special rose-colored glasses. But if I'm here and I'm just thinking this, then any little twitch is going to get me in. But let's just follow the facts, right? I don't want to build predetermined set. I just want to follow the facts. I have a swing. I have a swing doing its thing here, right? Now we're testing the backside of the mountain, and now we're coming down, right? We have a swing, but follow it. I followed it up. Somebody yell at me. Follow it down now, okay? This is what I want you doing in real time. This is how we start to get a handle on things. It doesn't automatically tell us what to do, but yell at me now, all right? I followed it up. Well, follow it down, fool. Tell me, Mike, follow it down. See, now I got swings going down. And this is what we want to do in a market. And this isn't that complicated. I have one major and one minor going up, and then it turns, it beats the red, okay? And now I've got a minor coming down. Well, actually, it's a major of that leg. It's not a lot to take in. Not a lot at all to take in. But we do put our blinders on. You know, especially you guys, for some reason, the tick charts are hard to trade. All right, it's moving faster. It's a little squirrelier, and it can be very difficult to trade these tick charts, this oil and this ES, until you really get yourself centered and solid. It's good practice, though. So now we follow it down. We have swings. I don't know what will happen with price. I'm not even going to go to bars. I'm just going to go and look at swings. Now what do I have? See, now the red gets beat again. So now I can come in with a whole different swing. Does everybody see what I got going now? The gray is trying. Okay? The gray is trying, and now you got the blue. And it's tilted up. I have a market that just did this. Everybody should learn to just keep practicing. It's a last swing broke. That's part of this major swing. It's a last swing broke. And so it might roll, but I have this swing. The gray swing is trying. The red swing has reached, and now the red swing is trying. So I have the blue, the big one trying and the little one trying. Everything's pointed up. Everything's leaning there. If you want to get a little more technical, I love this. Look at this. I love this. Let's drop out the cheap stops. Right? These are the cheap seats that are getting long. Right into the swing. These are the cheap seats. And you know what? It's kind of disappointing. It just doesn't lift. And that's current. The gray is trying. The red is trying. But I can tell you one thing. If you're long, you're on the right side of this guy until it's time to turn. And it's okay. If you want to play for a short, you want to do that in some sort of intelligent way, and that's up against this first mountain. All right. If you want to play for a short, you're playing the try. And if you're going to do it there. You know, it's already telling you kind of, maybe not. Maybe this goes nowhere. Maybe this holds and goes down. But until that point, that's what it's doing. Until that point, that's what it's doing. And so I ain't going to fight this market. Maybe it gets dull. Who knows? But you just look at them. They're reaching down and buying it. 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 Just see it. And we can describe that with a wash and rinse. We'll call that a major wash and rinse. And we'll call that a minor wash and rinse. And we're mapping the market so we can sort of get a handle on this puppy here. Everybody see? We got them, this is because we can understand some of the building blocks of price. This is a minor. It's a small. It's got boom, 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 drop them, zoom back through. Okay, boom, 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 drop them, zoom back through. We got major, we got minor, and this is the kind of thing I use for entries. Okay, either here or here to get into this swing. Unless I'm feeling, a little salty, then I'll just say, all right, I'm going to wait for a surprise. Maybe these guys will surprise to the downside, and then I can take advantage of that. And he says, fortunately, after I got stopped out, I drew that major tri-line in and said, I'll wait for it to show it's doing something different. Yes, wait for it to show it's doing something different, or just consider it. I'm not telling you to do it. Get on board with what it's doing. Right? It's one of the two. See, sometimes we learn to wait, and that's good. But then at some point, we look and say, maybe get on board with this thing. Get on board with what it's doing. There does come a time where this thing rolls and tries, like we saw in the CAD. The CAD finally rolled, but it took months. Months. And so, well, you might as well go with it until it rolls, and then, boom. And so that's a resistance to trading. And if you want, you just wait. You don't have to trade. But try just testing out, adjusting your position, Nate, in the meantime. To what? What are we going to adjust our, even if you don't get long, adjust your position, your personal positioning to, I'm just going to sit and wait for you to show me, to what? And this is great. I love this interaction. I'm never picking on anybody. Nate's a great trader. Not just what are the swings doing, but adjust your personal position to it's going up, right? And so that's a following. Follow it until it changes. And then at least that way you're not mentally fighting the thing and putting blinders on. I mean, it's okay if you fight it and you get short, and it's going to eventually short. It's, it'll show a sign. You guys see me. I take the tries sometimes. But at some point, right, just adjust yourself. It's going up. If it goes down, then I'll readjust myself. See, I'm not fixed. I'm very loosey-goosey with this thing. I'm not fixed. It's doing that. And sure, are there signs? Yeah, we see signs once in a while. So I just wanted to cover some of that a little bit. Let's hit a few other subjects here. Here I have this beautiful chart. Hang on. So we're just going to kind of float around a little bit today. So our 10-minute trader strikes again. Okay, this was our 10-minute pound. Our 10-minute trader strikes again, and this is a beauty, right? This is a beauty. And if you're going to trade against the flow, this is the way to do it. So let's see what he's got marked out here. Whew. Okay, now let me show you what I mean by this. Let's go back to our 10-minute. It's a beauty there. That's money in the bank. So remember, we talked about our 10-minute trader hit this little swap here. And now he hit this. Now, the market is going up. I agree. If you are going to do a short, if you can see this thing go bang, you can see opportunity in there for a little bit of ride. So this is a quick crack. It's a quick crack, right? This is like bang. And it can be a dangerous trade, but it's gorgeous, okay? And it's more than just setup, right? He's obviously very in tune with this market. He's very in tune with this market. You know, as I look at this, you know, I kind of be hanging out for long, but this is a beautiful, quick, makes sense type short trade in here. Look at him. Bang, bang. They're going down right now. Now let's just do some work with gaps. Just for practice. Expand, contract, expand, continue. Minor gap, major gap. So we're just doing some practice on various things. I'm not taking it real slow, but I'm wanting to do some practice here. Does everybody see that, how I can put this map in without expecting anything particular to happen? This comes back to our gap work. Now look, this gap here, this where they threw them off the cliff, these are the building blocks, right? We do the pressure cooker, but realize that everything I do has all sorts of, it's all connected. This gap here, all right? While it's not a pressure cooker yet, this is the building block to a pressure cooker. And so when you understand that this pressure cooker is where they threw them off the cliff, then you can begin to understand something about these gaps in minors and majors. We did this the other day. We talked about, this isn't a pressure cooker, but we talked about if it's going to be a deeper swing, it's going to come back and land in this guy. But my only point here is that the pressure cooker is nothing but a gap. It's one of the building blocks. The more we understand it, the more we can sort of map a market, the more we can see the possibility of something in here like he did. Me, I'd probably stay away from that, but he's the one that made the money. Boom, to the median line. And off we go again. All right, so this is a very typical major into minor, but you don't even need that. You just need the quickie down to the median line, and that's a quick bit of money there. Same with these. If you're on a 20-minute, you see my major and minor mountain. Do you guys get my swing work? So now I'm in this frame. It was a nice read on the fly, right, Nate? I mean, he's like hitting it right now. So it's a nice read on the fly. And sometimes if you're just sitting there and you're not waiting for a change and you're not waiting for a continue, you're not waiting for anything, something shows up, boom, those trades, they're the best. There's a surprise, and that was that quick little zoom. But let's practice our swings here so you guys can understand my map of this pound as I did it. So I want everybody to be able to draw this map. So what's my definition of major and minor swings, right? We're going to look at major swings. We're going to look at minor swings. So we know a swing is a new high confirms a swing low. So if I say, what's the major swing on this board? I want everybody to be able to take a quick glance that takes, not too long, and say, oh, you see, Phil, you see the ABC in there too. Yeah, it's beautiful. So think about that, Phil. Maybe you can match that ABC with a major mountain. I know, something to check out, huh? Does something like that. And we'll be doing ABCs at one point. Yeah, right? But let's start simply. What's my definition of a major swing? Because we're always going to practice swing work here because everything's in swings. And I know, Aaron, this is your type of trade here. You'd nail this one if you weren't so busy looking at the tick charts. But what's my definition? Raj says the biggest reaction, like, thank you. Thank you. I'll just keep pounding this over and over and over. I'm going to add something, Raj. Biggest reaction, like in your frame, meaning decide, pick a frame. And so what's the minor swing? See, we can get objective here. Next biggest. Thank you, Phil. I know this is easy, but how many of us forget this little thing? And so Aaron says, yeah, it's the LSB, last swing broke. So basically we can see that price was heading down, right? If you wanted to follow, I'm really big on the following. If you wanted to follow the swings down, you'd be going like this and like this. Major. You'd be going like this and like this. Minor. Okay? And you'd follow them down and say, oh, the minor held. Oh, the minor didn't hold. And you say, well, the major didn't hold. Okay. Now we follow it the other way, forgetting about all that crap. This is setting ourselves aside and following. And I know it sounds so cliche. It's so friggin' hard to do, to set yourself aside, right? To give. You got to set yourself aside. And this is more subtle. You got to set what you want, what you think, what you expect, and just follow what they're doing. And the reason we have a hard time with this is because things keep changing. And so we want to follow. This is something we can practice. And so we go, oh, okay. That's the major projection. And then we look, what's the minor in this? Well, we just play. This is just good practice. Minor. Okay, minor changed. And so notice he's getting short on a minor that changed. See? And he's doing it on a really nice neighborhood there. Okay, so, if we drew a median line set, it might look something like this. You see it's trying to do its thing. Might look something like this. I don't know. We can move it over here now. That's better, right? Good center. And so we come down to it. Everything's in swings. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Let's watch. So we can see that, this is where they just gave up and they're rolling it down. Ah, hard up. Something's changing there. Oh, mirror bars. It's like a little tail now, isn't it? We got some mirror bars in this guy. So it's like we got this little tail going on. New low, we have a little swing. Boom, boom. Price is swinging. Outside bar down. Okay? This is just what's occurring at a bar level. Notice I separate things out into 3 levels: major, minor, and bar level. Phil says it's really changed my trading to follow. Yeah, one of these days I'll do another session and start screaming instead of not here. Follow. It's about them, not about you, right? It's a hard thing to get. We have to keep doing it. We have to keep doing it. And it does change your trading. You know, in life, we don't like to follow. We like to take charge. So we watch. Okay, they're doing something here. They're doing something here. Ah, zoom. Anybody see what got zoomed? Look at that bar. Wide range bar zoom. So sellers, watch. I'm following, right, Phil? I'm following on this level now. I'm following at a little tiny swing level. And I'm watching swing, 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 try. All right, something just changed. This is just the facts, Jack. And so, Adam, what got zoomed? What stood out in here, right? Do you see the tails? You see the mirror bars? Hard up, hard down. It's the equivalent of a tail, right? It's the equivalent of a tail. Zoom. And so, you know, we combine that with, all right, maybe I have a trade in here. Maybe I have a trade in here. Don't go getting stuck on the short. Maybe the short's done. That's what median lines are trying to tell you. Okay, we've hit the median line. That's its job. That's its projection. But it's this, you know, remember this, because this is a market that wants to go up. Don't fight it. They ain't playing around. Please, everybody, see the little swing that just went on, the little LSB. Now, do I catch all this all the time? No, just like Nate, I'll fade things out, just like everybody else here. But some things I do see. Now, this isn't something you just use in isolation. See, here's where you want to be careful about using this. When this is where you want to be careful about using this. Does everybody see the difference, the setup of the setup? Here's where you want to at least be a little circumspect about using this. See, it's a little different. It's the same LSB. It's the same entry trigger, entry confirmation. It's the same, oh, I got a new swing. It's turning up. But the thing is, you know, you're liable to get in this situation, you're liable to get that much. And then if there's enough room, go for it. But I'm just saying that there's a difference in this situation, which is like this. It's going up. And this situation, there's a difference. And you need to check this out in your trading. This is a gimme, especially after Fed Day, and they keep cranking it, unless you're busy looking at statistics for what happens after Fed Day, and then you're screwed. All that stuff gets in the way. Follow price. Follow them. Don't follow me. Don't follow anybody. Don't follow the news. Follow price. It's telling you what it wants to do. It's telling you. It's telling you what it wants to do. Over and over and over. It's saying, hey, do this. Don't fight it. I got to tell you, I was tempted to get long the yen. But everybody see my pressure cooker? Actually, I went to bed, before I went to bed last night, I started to queue up orders just to have them here. And I changed my mind because I thought maybe it was down too far. But that's all right. So I was resisting things a little bit. And then this morning I didn't want it either. But let's use this now. All right? Let's use this as a canary in the coal mine. All right? And believe me, I can draw the lines that project all of this. You guys have seen me. We can draw the lines that project it all. Easy enough. But we haven't been focusing on lines. If you want to play, do this. Look at the line that we drew the other day. Okay? This is what we drew the other day. Right? This is the line price was on. And, you know, we can see it. So if you want to play with some line work, see that. See? It's a good line. We're now on this side of it. I haven't abandoned Andrews. But if we're going to use the lines, we want to use them and not be used by them. And so this now becomes a barrier to the other side. So we can still play with line work, right? This now becomes a barrier to the other side in some form or fashion. It looks like I might have even had my line off a little bit, huh? See, if I had come down like this, I'd have hit it perfect. That's the trouble. It's a bit subjective when you just flat out draw it. But you know what? Maybe we'll leave this puppy in here. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just leave this in here like this, make it a little bit of a zone. Huh? Because I like this, see? I like this. Zoom retest, okay? So maybe we can use this line also as a canary moving into next week. But I wish I'd have just got short this thing, tell you the truth. All right. One or two more subjects. Let's follow up our CAD, guys. Remember, we watched this live. We watched this live from here. Not a type 1. Maybe a type 2. So did you see that turn into a type 3? Everybody see that? Turned into a type 3 pressure cooker. And so I was watching it live. I didn't hit it, but I was watching it live. This all started when we were over here. We looked at little mountains, right? I think we were talking to Pete, wanted to know what a mountain was. We watched it hit. Pete, you see it return to the scene of the crime after a new low? Now, do your swing work. If you're not sure, just look at the most recent one and then move it around. Interesting? So this is one of the ways, right? You see this return to the scene, Pete? It happens a lot because after a new low, not here, don't get short here. If this was a good neighborhood to try and they dropped them off the cliff, Well, if it swings, it's also a good neighborhood to think about, especially now they're showing a little bit of intention. So this is one of those, maybe you try to get long. Doesn't work. Intention. Look at the swing. I want everybody to practice this. So on the weekend, when you've settled down a little bit, just go through your charts and see the swings in this thing. In all of your charts. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And, maybe you can just follow the line, follow the line, follow the line, follow the line. Boom. I should have been all over that. Like Nate over here, I think I was, right here, right here. I was hitting this try right in here to sell it when it was going up. Okay, I knew what I was doing. I took my shot. I went up against sellers. I took my shot. I got stopped. See, this is trading. You take your shot, you got stopped. Okay, you think about it. You think about it. You watch it some more. Now. So what? I take a little stop. If I'd have kept on this market, I'd be working on my 3-to-1, and one stop is no big deal. No big deal. But this is how we structure a market. Look, swing, blue swing, hold. Blue swing, hold. Blue swing, don't hold no more. Switch to red swing. We'll call this the blue-red swing method. And it's a lot healthier than a lot of things out there. Not perfect, nothing is. But everybody get that? Try this in your practice, please. Okay, I got a swing about that big. I got a swing about that big. Blue gets beat. Let's go the other way. Of course, that leaves us, really bored in the meantime. Maybe we get one long. So think about this. If you traded this like a system, you'd get one long and you'd get some money somewhere. You'd try another long. You'd give back some of that money. Okay. You then go the other way, and now you make it. So out of 3 trades, bored is better than losing money, but bored, I think this is what gets traders. Aaron says bored is better than losing money. I think this is what gets most traders. It's really tough for us to sit with ourselves and to sit with the market. It's really tough. It's hard. I mean, you have to be like a practice bum to do it. It's really hard to sit with ourselves because our minds get cranking. We want to do something. It's really hard to sit and be alone with just the charts and whatever. This is why chat rooms get popular, although people just end up following somebody there, and they end up, not doing much all day. Just go on StockTwits, and all day long you see nothing but cartoons. And so the trick about being bored, I'm not talking, you don't look like a professional bum, Edward. I could be a professional bum. The trick about being bored is, okay, be bored, but keep your attention on it. You know what I'm talking about, Aaron? It's one thing to get bored and take your attention off of it. Okay. But can you keep your attention on there while there's nothing going on? But this isn't that hard. You don't have to watch every bar. See what I'm saying, Aaron? This is all spread out very nicely. Okay, swing. Let me know what happens. Oh, blue gets beat. But think about this kind of trading. Boom, I make one. We can roll stops forward. I get a trade that's, maybe somewhere near 3-to-1 up here. Boom. I get long again. I take a stop. Okay, I give back some of my 3-to-1. I look. Maybe this is an expansion, maybe not, but practice, go see for yourself. Don't believe me. In this way, you had a whole week to think about a short. Yeah, you have a whole week to convince yourself this and convince yourself that, but you got to make sure you come in and look at what's going on, right? Boom. I looked at this, Nate, like 3 or 4 times, but, my focus was a little split. I was doing some other things. It was tickling me, Nate. It's like, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, right there. Come on, you drew it, sell it. And I never hit it. This would have been a nice one to hit. That would have been a nice one to hit. And it just ran. Boom. Nice and steep. Grace totally called that turn too. Yeah, she nailed that one, didn't she? She nailed that one. But we all see it. And so I want to think about that in trading, because that kind of thing, red gets beat, blue gets beat. Look at red. It's not perfect. We do need to consider a little bit of the context. But I want everybody to at least practice in their markets and take the instructions. A new swing confirms a low, right? A new low confirms a high. In your frame, major's the largest reaction leg, minor's the next largest. And then go work through your markets and see what it would have told you. If you're on faster charts and the tick charts, things are going to switch and swap a lot faster. Or if your market's going sideways, you're going to, have to look at a bigger frame maybe. But just, we need this kind of practice. We need this kind of practice. So I'm still kind of curious about the yen. Maybe this thing can get up, but it's doing what it's doing. Maybe it can get up. We'll see. It's doing what it's doing. So we'll save all of this for next week. I had a few other things, but, we'll call it today. So I appreciate you guys playing. We'll get back doing some work next week. You guys all have a very good weekend. Thank you, Gary. Don't freeze out there. Pete, appreciate it. Really, we can keep it simple, swings. Think about what I said about dropping our position to things. Just, it starts by noticing it. Thank you, Nate. So, Phil, you guys all have a good weekend. We'll be back at it next week. Thanks, Adam.